Okay, we would like to welcome you all for the Introduction to ArcGIS Pro training program. So this will be kind of a short training program, which will give you the overall understanding on ArcGIS Pro. So I'm Supun Sirivardhana. I'm representing GIS Solutions Private Limited. So we are working as the sole authorized distributor in Sri Lanka for ArcGIS platform. And we are part of large IT group called GIT Group. And our main functionalities are, one is for software applications, solutions, as well as training for the community in Sri Lanka. So if I take a few minutes to just describe ESRI, I think most of you know about ESRI, Environmental System Research Institute. They are the developer of ArcGIS software. So actually, there's a special thing about ESRI. They are investing a lot for the innovations of the GIS domain, for the GIS world. They are doing a lot of research and development, and also they are supporting a lot of innovations. Because of that reason, every year we are getting new things from ESRI platform. Okay, so today our aim is to go through the introduction part of ArcGIS Pro. But there's an objective for having this particular session because so from our community, there was a request for many years, actually, especially in last year, to have a ArcGIS Pro advanced training program. So we wanted to conduct that particular training program, but the problem is some of you need more awareness on the basic functionalities of ArcGIS Pro. So because of that reason, we wanted to conduct kind of an introductory session first, and then after that, we wanted to move you all to the advanced functionalities of ArcGIS Pro. So it is not just learning about a particular software. So we want to move into the next stages of GIS technology. It is not just learning about a single software. So as professionals in the GIS world, we need to improve ourselves and go beyond the certain levels in GIS. So we will start from this introduction, and then there are some other courses coming after next week. So let's start from the beginning. So it's all about an evolution of the software, right? So every technology in the world, there's an evolution. So if you take GIS, it is evolving. Actually, in 1969, ESRI was established, but they were in research and development work. In 1981, they introduced a software called PC ArcInfo. So it is kind of a command-driven, code-driven software. So you have to write everything in coding level to derive the outputs. But 90s, you had GUI, or the graphical user interfaces, and with that, you had different software like ArcView. And then like from 1998, actually like 2000 onwards, ArcGIS or the ArcMap was the key software from ESRI. So actually several decades, it has given a massive contribution for the GIS community. But now it has come to a particular stage because of the different technologies, it can't go towards certain levels. So there's a retirement plan of ArcGIS or the ArcMap, and now we are moving into ArcGIS Pro. So this period, there's a transition. There's a transition. So every part of the world, ESRI is encouraging to move into the ArcGIS Pro. And Sri Lanka also, we need to do several proactive migration activities from the ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro because the technology has changed, the Windows and the operating systems has been changed. Okay, so what is this Pro? So there are a lot of things you may have already experienced this Pro. So it is kind of professional GIS desktop application. So I will come to this topic called desktop and why it is called a desktop application. So now the latest version is 3.1. So there's a different type of versions on this Pro software. And what we can do, we can explore, visualize, and analyze data. Like ArcMap, you can do all those things. Then create 2D maps and 3D scenes using the same document. So you have a freedom to use same document and create two types of maps, 2D maps and the 3D scenes. And also, this particular software is encouraging you to share information. So how to share data or the information? So especially the geographic information can be shared using different methods. One method is using WebGIS platforms like ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise portals. It can be used to share web maps and many other features, specially built into the ArcGIS Pro environment. So this is the platform. So this platform, the desktop GIS software means something you need to install in a particular computer. Say, for example, if you need to work using ArcMap, you have to install that. So similarly, ArcGIS Pro also you need to install and work. Then you can create maps, you can do analysis, and also ultimately it is like this way. So there's a WebGIS in-house portal called ArcGIS Enterprise, or kind of called ArcGIS Online, kind of an environment which you can share geographic information. So desktop, from ArcGIS Pro, you can publish maps into the web environment, and from the web environment, again, you can take the data and analyze it. So it's kind of an GIS-based ecosystem where you can do various analysis using the platform. So it's like this. The interface has changed. I think some of you may be familiar with this interface, but for GIS users, it is still new because you have always worked in toolbar-based interfaces. Now it is totally ribbon-based interface. And you will find something like this, a map view. We call this type of graphical visualizing view called map view. And you can have charts, 3D items, and various other things. And also, there's a special feature in Pro. You can have layouts. So what is a layout? Layout, you always preparing layouts for maybe reporting purposes, maybe printing purposes. You may have map layouts. So usually in ArcMap, we are having a single layout, except for certain features. But in Pro, you have the ability to create multiple map layouts. Maybe you can have A4 map layout, A0 map layout, or portrait and landscape. Likewise, you have the freedom to have many layouts. And also, if you want, you can have the features like modern map series. You can create thousands of layouts at once. So these features are new to ArcGIS Pro environment. And 3D, especially there are 3D enablement in ArcGIS Pro, kind of outdoor 3D as well as indoor. There are special extensions for indoor 3D applications. So 3D is another important part, and also the visualization ability. The smoothness has been improved than the previous software platforms like ArcGIS. So there are massive improvements and the developments in the 3D environment. Then there are extensions like earlier for your analytical purposes, spatial analysis, 3D network, likewise, the traditional extensions are moved into Pro also. And there are new features inbuilt to the extensions. And there's a new extension called Image Analyst for image processing capabilities. And there are some other extensions related to the data and workflows. And also industry-focused extensions are again available for Pro. So that means total ArcMap extensions and some new extensions has been built into the Pro. Then how to work with this particular software. So that is what we need to learn. So let's see a project in ArcGIS Pro. So first word you are going to learn today, the projects. ArcGIS Pro projects. What is a project in ArcGIS Pro? There can be multiple items. There can be maps. Not a single map, there can be multiple maps. And scenes. Scenes means a 3D visualization map view or the 3D view. Layouts for printing purposes, charts, reports, and many other features. And also this kind of project contains some other important items. So let's see what are these items. So here you can see a project created from ArcGIS Pro. So you can see different items, folders, and also some documents. So there's a document type called with the extension of APRX, ArcGIS Pro projects. So it's kind of a blue color icon here. So it is the main document or the project document. So if you take ArcMap, you have MXD. If some of you have worked with earlier versions like ArcView, you had something called APR. Now you are having APRX extension. Then there's a default system folder. So when you are creating a project, by default, you can create a folder. With that, you can create more items. One item is called geodatabase. So this is the most recommended spatial data format in ArcGIS Pro. It is a file geodatabase. I will come to the geodatabase description and you can understand the details of that. Then there's a default toolbox for certain models or the Python scripts. You can have this toolbox in your project. The whole idea is to have kind of an organized method for your project. So usually, if you take most of us in the traditional environment, we are saving data in different places. But in GIS, it is kind of a best practice if you can store your data in a particular or the organized pattern, maybe using a one folder, particular subfolders, or maybe a geodatabase within the geodatabase. So likewise, it is a best practice. To maintain or encourage that best practice, there's a model here to create a project at the beginning. So when you are using ArcMap, you are usually saving documents after adding data. But here there's a difference. You can save your document at the beginning. So I mentioned you about 3 different types of, actually mentioned you about geodatabases. Actually, there are different types of geodatabases. What is this geodatabase? Maybe some of you have not understand this particular word. It is a spatial data storing format. So there are different types. In ArcMap, there were 3 types: file geodatabase, personal geodatabase, and enterprise geodatabase. This personal geodatabase is not further encouraged, and in ArcGIS Pro, you can't create personal geodatabases. But again, in Pro, there are 3 geodatabase types: file geodatabase, mobile geodatabase, and enterprise geodatabase. So this file geodatabase is the most recommended when you are working in local environment. Local environment means when you are working in your PC or laptop, then you can create file geodatabases and store your data. So you can access shape files. But when it comes to higher level of data management, you can always use file geodatabases. But there are advanced geodatabase types also, like enterprise geodatabases, which we can use in the advanced centralized WebGIS or centralized GIS editing environments. So that is actually based on different databases like Oracle, SQL Server, or open source databases like Postgres as the backend, and front end we are accessing that as a normal geodatabase. So that is a technology. It's a very advanced technology when it comes to geodatabases. So however, all 3 types of geodatabases can be or are used in ArcGIS Pro and can be connected with ArcGIS Pro applications. Then, how to start the project? So initially, we can create a project, but you have to remember few things. First one, you need to give a name for your project, and also there should be a location to save your project. So you can accept this default location, but best practice is you can manage these things according to your requirement. So that is kind of a brief introduction for the ArcGIS Pro. And I would like to go back into the software application, and then you will realize how to use this particular software. So let's see how to open ArcGIS Pro. So after installing the software, in your start menu, you will find a folder called ArcGIS. So it's not like kind of a time-consuming installation. So it will take less time than the ArcMap, and it will install in your PC. Please remember, you need to have 64-bit operating system to run this particular software. The reason is it can utilize your processing power in the PC. So if you open a particular folder like this, after the installation, you will find several applications. So if you have installed ArcMap, you will find ArcMap and the other features also. So I have a lot of features. So in the same group, you will find a link or the application launching icon here called ArcGIS Pro. You can click on that and open it. Or otherwise, you can pin this into start menu or taskbar, or even you can open the file location and copy this shortcut into the desktop. Then you can access it easily. So I will open it again like this way. So initially you will get this type of blue color appearance with the initializing screen. Without any map, you can start from this catalog. So this is the tool, or this is the template we can use when you need a project without any map. So some data management purposes, we can have that. But later on, you can insert other items. So likewise, there are some other templates also. These are used for 3D applications. So this one is for global scenes, globe type 3D. And if you want to have a local area 3D, this is the best application called local scene. But if you need to have a city model, kind of a small area model, even imagery taken from a drone, you can use this local scene and create your 3D application. So likewise, there are templates here. And this section, you will find recent projects. So if you have that is called name, then there's another one called single user license. And there's another one called concurrent use license. So those things are actually related to the licensing part. And then there's a very important thing called options. In this option section, actually you can do certain customizations or changes for the software. So if I go to the general option, so there's an option like this. You can change the theme, application theme. Say, for example, you can have a dark theme. If you press OK, it won't change. You have to close it. And again, you have to open. So the dark theme is some of you may have difficulties in using white color themes. Then you can switch into a dark theme and have that feature. So those things are available in the settings section. So I will go back to the settings, options. I just visited this place and change application theme. So I will revert it back to the light theme. And also there are things like this. So I'm going to another feature, map and scene. So initially, by default, ArcGIS Pro will open with the background map. That is we call a base map. So that is the default method. But if you don't want that, you can have none option. Then you will find a blank document without any background maps. So based on your requirement, you can customize these features. So I will put those things and I just close this and open it. So likewise, you can do various changes into your application using this settings section. So now you have some idea about home and also learning resources and the settings. Then we'll go back and I will click on home. Now I want to create a new project. So maybe a map project because I want to have a map. So let's click on this. So when you click on this, you are getting a window. maybe you can just click OK and go from here. But this is a very important part. Why? You can create a project and you can start saving your document from this point, which is very important. So I will create something like this, map 2. So I have already created map 1. That's why I'm using this particular name. So if you want, you can use a different name. So this will become the name of your project, right? Then you have to decide a location to save your project. So default location will be there. This default is coming because of the settings. This default location is already specified. If you want, you can change this default also. So otherwise, you can browse and select a place. Let's see whether we can browse. So I will go to desktop. There's a folder called student data. I will go to that. And I will just put my project into the introduction. Click OK. So now you can see the updated path, folder path. So as a best practice, we do not recommend you to save your documents in your desktop or the C drive. Why? Sometimes you may accidentally format these drives. There are user restrictions, kind of things. So it is good. The best practice is to save your data in a different drive. And also, I'm always mentioning this in my trainings, keep a backup of your data. So that is very important because we can always recover the software or the license, but if you lose your data, it's a great loss. So always keep your data backups in your place. Right. Let's click OK and see what is happening to the software. Okay. So now you have created something and the software has opened with these tools and features. So let's see, I will minimize it a little bit and I will go back to my introduction folder. Now I want to show you that there's a folder created inside this particular place. I will open this and we can see different items. So this is the project folder. The name of this project is map 2. And there are some other elements. Now you can see a database called map2.gdb. This is a geo database. And this is the document. And this one is a toolbox. So you can see several items inside this particular folder. Right. So now you have an understanding about the location of your project. Okay. So let's go to the different items. So on the top, you will find a toolbar. And then you can see some menus or the ribbons. And under these ribbons, you will find different tools. So this header section contains different types of tools. On the left-hand side, you will see something called contents. This content is similar to the table of content in ArcMap. But remember, this is totally dynamic. According to the view or the highlighted feature here, this content is dynamically changing. If there's a 3D element, according to that, content is changed. If there's a map layout, according to that, this content will be changed. So that is kind of a very important thing you need to understand. This type of area or kind of window, the terminology, the correct term is pane. This is called content pane. And this area you will find another pane called catalog, a catalog pane. So how to take these panes? So they are hidden under one of these ribbons. So I will jump into a ribbon called view. When you click this view ribbon, you will find catalog pane, contents, tasks, likewise, Python window, likewise, there are different windows for the panes you can open. So that's how they are appearing in this interface. Okay. So I will go back to this area. On the top, you will find some tools. Some of the tools are familiar to you. So if you go to a tool, you will see a tool tip. So if you don't know about the software, it is very easy to understand a particular icon or tool by using this tool tip and also the appearance of the icon. So when you see this icon, you can imagine that this is related to the document saving. So you can save your document. Then this one we call quick access toolbar. Why? If you need some tools for accessing frequently, you have to use this place. So there are more tools you can take here. Say, for example, if you want to have a rectangular zoom in, so you can have this kind of tool here, the magnifier tool. So likewise, you can turn on and turn off some essential tools for this area, not all the tools. So this is called quick access toolbar. Then we'll start from this end, the project and map ribbons. So when you click on project ribbon, again, you will find the main settings pages, as well as you can save and licensing options like this. So I think you have an idea about that area now. Then I'll move into the second one, map. So it's a very important feature. It's a very important feature because there are plenty of essential tools organized into this area. Map. So this is the name of the ribbon or the tab. And if you take a particular area like this, a section, this is we call the group, tool group. So inside the group, you will find different tools. So this one is named as navigate. So that means it's very important because if you want to zoom, if you want to navigate, this is the best place. So there's a tool, a new tool called Explore. It have multiple functions. So let's see how it works. So without data, we can't understand this tool, right? So we need to have some data. So how to add some data? So that is the next question. So we can see another section, or we can say a group called layer. So that means you can add various layers. So there's a familiar tool, familiar icon here with a plus mark and a layer. So that means you can add different layers from your PC. So let's add the layer. So you can use this to add your layers in your computer, but let's start from a different type. So there's another one called base maps. So base maps are kind of background maps which you can have with Pro. So I will just add the base map into the Pro and just click and see. So now I'm getting a base map. So you can see it is kind of an online map. So how to understand this? So if I go back to the contents, now you can see two items. World imagery is the base map name. So you can turn off, turn on. This is the base map layer. So in contents, you can find out several tools. One is tool for drawing order. There's another one for data source. So what is this data source? Let's check and see. When you click on this layer, this is not coming from your computer. So it is coming from a particular online service, right? So further drag it, and it is coming from ArcGIS online service. So from the internet, you can access this type of base maps. So I will go back to the drawing order and I can remove these layers because I don't want that base map. So similarly, you can add different base maps like maybe OpenStreetMap as a background layer, right? So again, it is coming from a different online source. So let's see this particular base map. Let's see whether we can zoom in. So this Explore tool is our functionality tool here. So if you take your mouse pointer, you can see how we can operate this particular tool. There are shortcut keys, and also you can use it with the keyboard. You can do various functions. Let's do some functions and see. So you can use your scroll button and zoom in using the map like this way. You can zoom in. So if you want to pan, or you can touch your map and take it here and there, you have to click and drag. You can click and drag like this way. Then if you want to have the zoom in tool, like earlier in ArcMap, you have a zoom in tool. So if you want to have that tool, you can press Shift key and you can drag a box like this. Like this. Then you can zoom in. If you right click, you can zoom in or zoom out. You can right click. If you press the right click button, you can zoom in. If you take your mouse forward, you can zoom in, zoom out, or zoom in like this way. So when you are using mouse, you can understand these features very well like this way. Right. And also, if you are using a tool like this V, or you can press your keyboard letter V and you can click and rotate your V like this. So if you try to further rotate, it will drop. So if you want to take it back to the north, you can press N, then it will rotate back. So likewise, there are small things, but it is very easy when you practice the tool. So it is called Explore, a navigation tool which you can use for zooming capabilities. And also there are some other familiar zooming tools. Without clicking on the map, you can zoom and zoom out this section. So there's another one called full extent. When you click on it, it will go to the full extent of your data. Or you can come back to the previous zoom level and go forward or backward. So like this way. So these tools can be used for zooming your application map view. So what is the view? The highlighted blue color view called map. Okay, I will right click on this. When you right click, you will always get a menu like this. You can do various functions. I want to remove this base map, right? Okay, so like that way, you can use this navigate to work on navigation of the data. So let's try to add your own data from the local computer. Let's see how we can add them. Let's click on add data button. So this is not just a single button now. There are multiple functionalities inbuilt to that data button. So there are many other features, but we can just click on the button and it will open your browsing window. So let's go to, I will go back to my PC. So this PC, so you can see desktop, C drive, D drive, and things like that. So I can navigate to desktop, student data. So I want to add some data. Now I'm going to the second folder. So there are some data sets here. There's one data called boundary, and this is a shapefile. So I think most of you are familiar with shapefiles. So I will add this file. Now you can see the file. It's just a simple polygonal layer. If I want, I can add another one. So there's another one, districts. I will add that. So here you can see the layers on top of each other. So you can turn off layers, turn on like this way, right? I will just turn on the district layer. So every layer in any software, you will find an attribute table. How to take this table? Usually we have to right click and you can open this attribute table. So this file is containing a table. I'll open that and you can see different fields. So what is an attribute table? So there can be fields and records. In Pro also, similar architecture, but in attribute table, you will find some tools here. And if you go to a field, you can see the type of that field. If you just take your mouse pointer, you can see the type of the field. So this is called a geometry field. So if I take mouse pointer here, it's a text field. So if I take here, it is called double. That means you can store decimal features. So likewise, you can enter various types of data. So let's click on this area in front of the record. So what is a record? These are the records. So at the bottom, you can see the summary of these records. 0 of 25 select. So let's click on this area. This area. When you click on this area, you will immediately see something is selected. And also it is selected in the map. So this record area, you will find 1 of 25 select. So these features are similar to ArcMap. And you can clear this selection also. Now, how to clear this selection? So you will come to a particular place with lot of selection tools. So in Pro, there's a group called selection where you can do multiple types of selections. So if you want, you can just select in the map using a tool called rectangle selection, polygonal selection. Likewise, there are tools. So I will click on the select tool and try to click like this way. Now you can see all the area touching to this particular selection tool and select the features. Then if you want, you can try different tools. There are tools called lasso, where you can create kind of a polygon like this and select the area. Why we are selecting? The purpose is you can extract data. Maybe you can export it into Excel. Likewise, sometimes you want to do a particular analysis only for those features. So we are using selections for various applications. So let's clear this. So let's open the attribute table again. You can see different features, and also you can see different types of attribute data. Here you can see North Central Province, Northern Province. Likewise, you have data in this particular file. So let's try another selection. How to do a selection using a command called select by attributes. So in this case, you can just access this tool from the selection tool group. You can select, you can click on that, then you will find select by attributes like this way. So it's asking what is the input layer. So you can say this one, or you can select another one. And also selection type, new selection, or you can add to your current selection, remove from the selection. So these features are there. So let's have a selection here. We'll create a clause, small expression, where I need to identify province name. These are actually fields which we have seen in your table. So let's select province name. Then you can have kind of an operator or condition is equal to, not equal to. Likewise, there are many features. Let's try the simple one, equal to. Let's select a particular province, maybe Central. We can click apply and see. Now you can see it has selected the Central Province features. So from the attribute table also you can navigate to that, or you can just understand the selected features by switching between these two tools. Right. So if you want to have another clause, you can do that by adding more clauses. And also behind this particular view or the expression window or this particular area, you can always understand the query based on the SQL language. So you can see how it is created. But there's a simplified environment where you can create these clauses. So we'll have another one. So I want to select another one. Province name is equal to Eastern. Let's apply and see. But I can't see any result. Why? Because there is a conjunction here called AND. So if we are using AND, the both criteria should be considered. So in this case, there are no records maintaining both these elements. So if I change this to a district, And if I try a district like this, let's see Candy. So there are two conditions now. Two attribute fields are involved. First field is checking province name, and the second condition is district name. Province should be central and district should be Candy. Let's apply and see. Now it is giving the result. So if you want to have a different, you can change to O command for the conjunction, province name, let's say East, apply and see. Now you can select the board. So these commands actually already available in ArcMap also. But here, the difference is you have more simplified view for doing this work. So let's close this, and I want to clear this also. And remember, there are more selection related tools here, and there's a new one called select by date and time. Right. So now we have some understanding about ArcGIS Pro data and attributes. Right. So let's do some more things. So I will click on this area, drawing order. There are some items. I'm clicking on map. If you carefully look at the ribbons, you can't see anything in this area. But when I click on a vector polygon layer, a vector layer, right? You can see some other contextual menus, feature layer, labeling, and data. Let's go to the feature layer. So it is all about controlling the appearance of the layer. So very simple thing. We'll start from very simple thing. You can just change the transparency. Now you can't see the layer because it is transparent. So you can change the transparency. And if you want, you can have visibility scales. What is this visibility scale? So I will just click on in beyond option. Now I can't see. When I zoom out, I can see. When I zoom in, I can't see. So that is called visibility ranges. Then we'll do another one. The opposite of this, let's do. When I zoom out, I can't see. When I zoom in, I can see. Particular scale layer is disappearing. This is good for actually organizations who are handling a lot of data to improve the performance of any application. Even desktop GIS software, you can improve the performance by setting this kind of visibility scales. Web GIS, it is very important, but even desktop GIS, it is very important. So imagine an organization like Waterboard or surveying related organization who are having a lot of information. When you zoomed in, you can set visibility scales for your data. So I will just clear this. Our interest is not this visibility scales. There are plenty of other things. You can have flickers, so various things, but we want to change the symbology. So now it is in single symbol. There are many symbology options. So let's go to the basic one, unique values. So what is the meaning of unique values? So you can select a field, attribute field, and specify a particular field for specifying your data. Let's select a field like district. Now you can see it is categorized. So now we are dealing with another pane. This pane is called Symbology pane. So it is all about changing the symbols. So it automatically comes when you click on this particular tool or the particular command. So you can change the colors like this way. And also there are options like more options where you can format all symbols, or you can do various other things like you can show count and things like that. So I'll change the attribute field. So likewise, there are options available for changing these symbols. Right. So it's all about symbology changes using this feature layer option. The next important thing is labeling. So usually in our maps, we need to have labels. So how to enable labels? First thing, in this ribbon, you have to turn on the labels by using this particular tool. This is the first step. So you can click here, then you will see the labels like this way. Now you can start changing these things. So let's say particular field. What is the field? Coming from the attribute table. So we'll select district field. And also you can control your text symbol. You can modify your text symbol. So let's modify some colors, sizes, or even font, and also like bold, italic kind of things based on the font. So you can do those changes. So imagine you want to have another label, or you want to remove certain labels. So you can just create a query like earlier. Let's see. I'm going to have a control on my labels. Equal central points. Now I can't see other labels. I can only see the labels based on the query. Only 3 items now. So I can remove that. I would like to apply the normal condition. So that way, there are features organized to modify the labels in this section. So imagine you want to have another label here with this main label. Here you can see something called class. Class. And class 1, there's a name. So class 1, you can see districts labeled in this white color. So I want to add another class. Let's create a label class. You can give any name. I will give class 2. Then I want to change this. Imagine I want to have district codes like this. And separately, you can change the colors of them. So now I'm having 2 label classes. One is having class 1 is here with this district data. And class 2 is with the district codes. So separately, you can modify those classes. When it comes to labels, it is not very simple. You have plenty of features like label placements, like this. And also, there are small icons here, these areas, right? You can see small icon. When you click on it, you will find advanced features related to the placement of labels, orientations, symbols, positions. Likewise, there are plenty of label modification features. So based on your requirement, you can have labels like that. But remember, there are something called annotations when you are having special labels for cartographic purposes. you can use annotation feature effectively, right? For printing purposes, the things like that, annotation is the best method than the labels. So that is especially for cartographical mapping organizations, right? So like this way, we can simply change the labels. So I would like to save the document. So if you want, you can frequently save the document using a particular setting, but time to time you need to save it. Okay. Then we'll see, we have some idea about labels now. Same feature layer, there's another menu here called data. Let's click on that. So this is all about the attribute table. So we can visualize the table and just open the table from here. Similar to the right click and opening the table. Same thing. Close this. And if you want, you can check the fields. So let's click on this. This is called data design. This area, you have a lot of data related designing environment. So if you are using geodatabases, subtypes and domains, and there's a new thing called attribute rules. These things comes under data design or data model modifications and things like that. So simple one is fields. You can't get subtypes domains for a shapefile. Why? Shapefile can't handle these things. You need to have geodatabases, feature classes to handle these items. But we can handle fields. Let's check the fields. Now you can see some fields like this, area, population. Likewise, you have some fields. This panel is helping us to add new fields. So imagine you want to add more fields into your attribute table. You can simply click here and add more fields. We'll add some more fields for some other data layer. Right. And also you can find out various things related to the attributes. And there's a very interesting one, again, charts. So you will find charts like this. So we'll simply have a chart quickly. So there are different chart types. From 3.1, there's a new chart type, pie charts. Let's click on that. And let's select a category, maybe provinces, and also numeric fields. Let's select. Currently, we don't have much data. I will select area. Right? So you can modify this chart, right? You can modify the data, slices. So if you want, you can modify this like a donut, not just having a pie chart. You can have this like this way. Format, general, likewise. You can change the title of the chart and things like that you can modify. So this chart is another item. Now you have a map and a chart. So you can drag any item like this way. Or you can keep it without docking into any place. You can keep it like this way. But if you want, you can actually place that into a particular area like this. Now you can see your chart and the map side by side. So when you click on the chart, you will actually look at the map also. You can have a selection. When you click on the chart, you will have the selection reflected on the map. So that is kind of an interesting thing. And also remember, contents under a particular layer, this chart, you can enable, or you can open it again. If it is closed, you can open it again from there. Because it is an item related to the particular layer. Right. So now we have a chart here. So I will close this chart. So like that way, using this data ribbon, you can have various things related to the attribute table. Right. So now we have learned about the basic features, and also we went through 3 ribbons: feature layer, labeling, and data. So imagine I want to have another map, not just this map, another map. So that means I need to insert another map. Now we are looking at another ribbon. So we have an understanding about map ribbon. Now we are moving into another ribbon called insert. So there are plenty of things we can insert. We can insert new maps or new map layouts, right? So let's insert a map and just click and insert. Now you can see the difference here. Contents, there's one called map 1, no content here. You can't see anything. But when you click on this map, here you can see the layers inside that content. So this has to be properly identified because it is always related to the highlighted view, highlighted element. When you click on this, it is empty. If you want, actually, you can just drag the layers from this one and drop it into this one. So that is also possible. Or I can remove this. You can separately add data, again using the add data button. You can have a new map here. Then you may think, where is the location of these 2 maps? What is the location? How, if we have accidentally closed this, how to get that map? So actually it is all about the project. So if you go to the catalog view, if you can't identify the catalog view menu, you can go to the catalog pane or catalog view. This is the catalog pane. When you click on it, you will find this. So this window, there are nodes. In this area, you can see nodes. What is a node? Actually, when you click on it, you can expand and collapse that particular node. So I will click on this. Now you can see map and map 1. 2 items, map and map 1. So even we can rename this. When I rename this has changed. So that means this is the area. If we accidentally close these maps, you can open that again from here, like this. So this window, you will find different items created in the project. So imagine you are going to have another item like map layout. So I will just quickly create the layout, A4 size. So it's another view. Then you will find the content of the catalog with another node called layout. Inside that, you will find this layout window. So likewise, the items will be organized in the catalog. Right. So if I go further, there's a toolbox. the toolbox created when we create the project. So that means if you have Python script or model builder applications or model builder tools, you can just right click and start from here. Then there's the database, the geodatabase, which we have created. So that is again important. One, you can create data or import data into this one. So now my interest is not just having this data or just adding data from the add data button. I want to add data from a different method. I want to create folder connections. So in Pro, you have to right click and add the folder connection. So let's add the connection to my desktop, student data folder, and press OK. So let's see student data like this way. I can see the folders inside that. So it is easy. You can just open particular folders. So I'm going to open this third folder and drag and drop this file. You can just drag the shape file and drop it here. Like this way. It is another shape file. So let's open and see the attribute table. Okay, you can see some attributes. So if you want, you can take this attribute table out and place it like this way. Okay, so let's see what are the available fields. So you can see different fields. So when you take your mouse pointer, you can identify the field type. So this is called field type called long integer. If you take here, it's a text field. Here, it's again text. So if I go to the area, there are no information. It's double. So that means you can enter decimals. So I will click on this. It is also double. Actually, it is, I think, it is wrong because population cannot contain decimals. So this is related to population, but the field type is double. So it seems wrong. So let's try to add a new field. How to add the new field? Maybe here we can have a new field. So let's go to the add field and click. Now remember, we are in a different panel. So this is a difference in Pro because in this panel, you have to specify the field names, their aliases, types, etc. And you can save your field. Maybe more than one field you can add using this particular panel. So let's add a field called population. And you can specify the attribute field type. I prefer to have long integer because it will have larger integer values. So if you want, you can further modify these fields. And you have to remember one thing. When you add the field here, you have to save it. Or it is also indicated here in green color. That means you need to save it. So if I click again, I can add another field. So let's add the field like this way. Now you can see an error here. Why? We can't have two fields in the same attribute table with the same name. That's why it is giving an error. We can have a different name here. I will just have something like this. Then it is okay. So then we have to save. So still, if you check the attribute table, nothing is there. You can't see nothing. But when you click on it, you are still at the editing environment of the attribute field. So you have to save. Then only it will be saved into your attribute table. Now you can see the attribute table like this. So then let's do a simple calculation. Like earlier versions in ArcMap, you can right click and have calculate field. So it's the field calculator. But there are some changes here, like we are using Python, and there's another one called ArcGIS. So let's just populate the field, P total, and I will apply. Now I can see it is available here. So if you want, you can right click and remove this. Like this way, you can delete fields. So like that, you can add new fields using the attribute table. So let's do another calculation. There's an area field. We'll just calculate the area. So you can right click. Then we have to use calculate geometry option. So I will click on this, calculate geometry. Then we have to select a particular field here, area. What is the field? This is the field referring to that place. And what is the thing we want to calculate? Actually, we want to calculate again the area. So this is the name, right? Don't confuse with that. This is just the name of the attribute field. This is the property we want to calculate. An area unit, we can select maybe square kilometers. Maybe I want to do another calculation at the same time. I don't have a field now, but I want to calculate the perimeter. So I will type something like this, and I want to select perimeter. So this is the second one. So let's see. We can select kilometers. Maybe I want to do another one. Maybe area, but in hectares. I'm just putting a name here. Maybe again, I want to calculate area. This one is okay. This one, let's check. Area unit, maybe hectares. So likewise, I do not have these two fields, but I'm trying to calculate. So let's check whether it is working or not. Now you can see something new because area has been calculated, and again it has calculated perimeter, and again another column for area. These two columns we didn't have, but when you are doing the calculations, you can add fields and calculate the required properties. So that is kind of a new thing when it comes to Pro. So let's close all these things. Right. Okay. So another important feature you may always require, sometimes you are working in your own ArcMap documents. You always work with your ArcMap document. So here you can see an ArcMap document called GIS layers. So I can open it and show you. It's a simple ArcMap document with few layers. So I will just double click. It will take a little time, but it will open. So then imagine I want to open this document using Pro. So how to do that? So do we have a method? So when it comes to Pro, it is kind of a higher version of the software. So it's a higher version of the software. So that means you can open ArcMap, but ArcMap can't open the Pro documents, right? So we have to keep that in mind. But in the Pro, there's a feature where you can import. This is the ArcMap document with some data. Now I think links has been broken. So with that error, we will import. So there's an option here in the insert. We can import map. Or you can do this in the other way. You can just go to the catalog and identify the ArcMap document in next. You can right click on it and import and open. So let's see whether it is importing. Yes, it is importing. And you can see something called layers here. So that is the data frame inside the ArcMap document. So actually it has broken links, right? You can identify these features. So you can click on the link if it is broken and go to the folders, student data, GS layers. So I will just open the town here. Yes, it will detect all other layers. Right. So same document, same symbology, you can import here. But remember, you can't import Pro documents back to the ArcMap. Right. So I'm going to close this. Okay. So now we have discussed a lot. So I would also like to give kind of a question for you, because since we are having kind of a training and we wanted to give you kind of an e-certificate, we just want you to have kind of an understanding about what we have discussed here. So you can actually submit a form. I will share the link. So then you have some time to submit that. So I will share the link. Into the chat window. Right. So you can access that and see it's with some questions which we have discussed here. And also you can submit your details, right? So you can submit your name, then organization, email, and contacting. And also you can enter these quiz. You can mark them and just submit. So just to understand whether you have learned something from this particular training session. Okay. So while I'm doing, you can do that also, right? Yeah, I think our team will try to support you to share the link. Okay. So if it is not shareable, we will send you again for you, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, let's go back to the session. Okay, in your day-to-day life, you want to deal with a lot of data. Especially you will have Excel data. So I have some Excel files. So this is a common thing when it comes to Excel. So people use Excel for various reports. Sometimes people use this term database when we are using Excel sheets. Actually, this Excel, you can maintain tables, not the databases. Database is more kind of a wide concept or wide feature, but you can have tables. But when you have Excel, you need to have a clear table. Maybe you need to have columns and rows architecture, like the attribute table. You need to have column headings, then rows. So there is a particular format. So if we have merged cells like this, we can't read that properly in the GIS software. Even Pro, it is a common thing. Even you have the highest versions or the lowest version, the best practice stays in the same way. So first thing, you need to have data in the proper format. Maybe you have to copy this cell range into another sheet. And also, to have your data, you should think about, you have to always check this latitude and longitude kind of fields are in proper formats. It should be in the numerical formats, not as the text. I have seen some people putting degree symbol and N and E here and there. Then it becomes a text field. So you have to be careful when you are dealing with Excel data. So that means you can add this data and try to do a map. So how to do this? So there are various options. The first thing, actually, you have to have a clear data set. So there's a file here with clear data set. So actually, we will share these data with you and also the link for the software. So you can try with your own after having this session. Right. Let's add some Excel data. So you can go to the catalog and go to the Add Excel. Here, you can find out the Excel sheet. Maybe you will be able to access from the workbook the particular sheet. So that way you can drag that here and work. That's also possible. But there's another way. We can go to the map and we can try to add the Excel using this add data, but using a different technique. Add point data. So let's see whether we can try this. You can click this. Now it is actually allowing you to have a tool. So this type of tool or the pane we call Geoprocessing pane. So it is actually available with this analysis ribbon. So we haven't discussed about this ribbon. It's a huge area, but when we are operating the data with this tool, it is giving the option. So let's see whether we can add this Excel file. So I would like to go to the folders, student data, Excel. There's a file here. I want to use the cleared file, the particular sheet. We have to select and click go. Now what has happened? So it has detected the sheet and attribute fields X and Y fields. So if you think the latitude and longitude, longitude comes with the x-axis and the latitude for the y-axis. It has been selected because it can identify the name. But if it is in a different name, definitely you have to click on this drop down and select the correct field. And also here you can specify a name for your point layer. I will keep the default one to save some time. And then if you have Z, you have to select that also. And very important thing, coordinate system. So in this case, it has been automatically selected and it is correct. But if it is not, definitely we have to browse and select the appropriate fields. So this is the coordinate system related area. You can search and find coordinate systems. So if we find Sri Lankan ones, let's check SLD and enter. So under the projected national grids, Asia, you will find one of our local coordinate systems. But in this case, we don't need this one because we are interested in WGS 84. Right, I will cancel this and I want to run the tool. Let's see. Okay, it has given you the result and you are having a file here, a point layer with this name. I can check the data source. So it is located in the student introduction folder. If you further expand, map2.gdb, that means by default, it has gone to the database of the project. So in earlier ArcMap, when you run a tool, it goes to C drive some places in the document as the default location. But in Pro, when you run a tool, the result goes into the particular default geodatabase. If you want, we can change this default. When you run various analysis, you will find the same result. Okay. Right. So let's see what we can do. So we have run this tool. If you are interested in many other tools, you have to go to this analysis ribbon. So I will just show you the ribbon like this. So you can see the history, the model builder, the Python, and Python notebooks, the Jupyter notebook environment for automations. Likewise, there are a lot of tools. But the important part is tools like here. When you click on it, it opens a pane called Geoprocessing. Geoprocessing. So any tool you can search and find. If you are interested in buffer, very common, famous tool, when you type, you can run the tool. So when you click on it, you will be able to open the parameters of the tool. So those are actually inbuilt tools. So here this section called favorites, if you are using a tool frequently, you can actually add that into the favorite section. And there's another tab here called toolboxes. When you click on this, you will find plenty of tools. So you can open like this way, the toolboxes are available. But if you are new to the software, you can always type and search. So I will type a keyword like GPX. Let's see. There's a tool called GPX to features. So what is a GPX file? It is a GPS exchange file format. It's a very common file format in day-to-day life. In your office, you will find that file format. So let's check whether we can have a file. I think I have a file. Let's go back to the student data. Data types. GPX file is available. The track. Let's click on it. So you can have output as points or maybe polylines. You can change this name. I will run the tool and show you. Okay, now you can see the result here. And also your output has automatically saved in the database inside your project. Okay. So now you are having kind of an understanding about ArcGIS Pro environment. So from this particular training, our expectation is to go through important features when you are handling this Pro from the first time. So later on, you can build your knowledge on various things related to the product. Right. So we have started from the project menu and map ribbon. Then we went to the insert. And also, finally, we have taken some overview into the analysis section. So with the time allocated today, we have to conclude the session with this type of activities. So what we'll do, we will actually would like to share your data, this data set, and also we'll try to share the recordings and you can try with your own. So when you practice only, you will learn the features in this particular platform. And also remember, you may have very familiar things with ArcMap, but now we have to move into this type of new features because in future, in 2026 onward, the support from the S3 is retired for the ArcMap software. So we have to use this as the main software from that. Okay, so with that, I would like to conclude the technical part of the program, and I would like to give you the opportunity to ask questions related to the today's session. So please, you can ask questions. If you have issues of unmuting, try to raise the hand. Our team will support you to unmute, or you can even put your information into the chat window.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Yes. Thank you for your presentation, sir. Is there any options to use the machine learning algorithm in ArcGIS Pro?
Yes, there are new...
For example, support vector machine or random forest, etc.
Yeah, actually, I have seen several applications and also tutorials related to machine learning.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure about all the methods you are mentioning. So I have seen they are using that for extracting a particular features like using a satellite image, using the machine techniques, extracting the features like coconut trees and things, using an app. So there are features like that.
Okay. But no any direct options, right, to calculate do the classification.
Anyway, this has the Jupyter notebooks and those Python environments. So I hope you can build based on the requirement.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, there's a question. Can we install the ArcGIS Pro in the same machine in ArcMap? So actually, we can share you a link with the software. Even you have the ArcMap, you can install Pro separately. So there's no dependency of ArcMap version towards the ArcGIS Pro version. No dependency, but the system should have particular system requirements, like the particular operating system, the things like that. It should be there.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my name is Kamal Rana, presently working in UAE in GIS as a GIS specialist.
Okay.
And thank you for your training, and it was very nice session to learn new things. My question is that actually presently having 10.8.1 ArcGIS in my laptop. So just wanted to ask whether I can install the cracked version from for ArcGIS Pro. Is it available or not?
So actually, as the official distributor, we can't promote those versions.
Okay.
But the technically, I'm considering on the license versions, we can use both ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro in the same machine. That means you do not need to uninstall ArcMap when you are installing ArcGIS Pro.
Okay.
Two separate installations. One is actually ArcMap is 32-bit application created for kind of traditional or the old operating systems.
Okay.
ArcGIS Pro is for modern operating systems. 64-bit, any operating system, it can be installed
Okay.
from Windows certain versions. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So no problem. So it means we have to buy the license for having this one.
So as the distributor, we can't allow people to use the pirated version. So we are recommending people to use the license version because there are some various other things, not just the usage of software. There are security aspects and things like that. So
Yeah, got it, sir.
that is our recommendation. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. But actually,
Okay.
for
Okay.
learning purpose. So that's what I'm asking. Even we are not misusing the software because there is certain instructions also there. We are also following that. So only for the learning purpose. So it is I can say according to the this session is as similar as to the ArcGIS, but there is a lot of changes which is like. Very easy to use, and someone is like there is some complication is also there. So as we can just spend some time and suppose software is there, then we can do something, but slowly we can learn. No problem. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, any other questions? ඔගලන්ට සිංහලෙන් වුණත් අහන්න පුළුවන්, ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. අපිට කෙටි වෙලාවක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Hello, sir.
Oh.
I'm a university student from Eastern University.
Okay.
We have a subject as RGIS. Then I had the knowledge from this courses about the ArcMap. I prefer to continue this ArcGIS Pro. How can I continue this course? Can you, if you can tell me about this?
Yes, actually, we are having several. Our plan is to have. So if I open my flyer again, so our plan is to have kind of an advanced training programs. We can't use one advanced training program and teach pro functionality because there are so many different aspects and fields. So here we have started from this end, ArcGIS Pro introduction, and then we are trying to have some kind of online courses because one reason is nowadays, and also this is for very cheap price because of the current economic condition in the country. So we wanted to have several courses, but for an affordable rate. So then as the second course, we want to teach people to how to use the map layouts and the new functionalities like map series. If you are familiar with ArcMap, there's something called data-driven pages, automated map layouts, but more advanced feature is here called map series. Then there are some other sharing methods like publishing into the web maps. And these things are actually general things now for the world. And we want to enhance the knowledge of Sri Lankan community regarding these things from the next course. Then we are going towards another course. It is more related to data management, more focused on geodatabases, data models, and design. So there are some advanced features called topology. It is available in ArcMap also, but in Pro, you have certain other functionalities also. And we are going to have another course on that. So after having these courses, our expectation is to go into the analytical side of the application, starting from raster analysis, but there are plenty of more analysis, linear network related analysis. So likewise, there are, and also the remote sensing, image processing related analysis. So likewise, we are hope to continue many courses. So we are at the start of that. So if you are interested, you can join with us on these courses.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Related to same thing, sir. Actually, as you have shown all these courses from 21st of this month. So suppose if we want to enroll all of them, then one time we can pay, and in which currency?
Yeah, that one we will separately send you emails after this session. Pre-session will send details on that regarding these currency and things, because currencies we can't because we will have to pay taxes and things like that. So we have to adjust according to that. So we will inform those details, I think maybe during this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so actually, the 6,000 it is showing 6,000 rate rupees. So, so it will be good to manage, because it's earlier, like before some time, if you are just clarification, making some clarification for that, then we can arrange the fund. So no problem. So like we have to enroll for this all these next three courses. As you have shown here, the next one is the related to. Can you show that introduction page again?
Yeah, we will share that information with you. So I think you have registered, no? You can get those details.
Okay, okay, yes, yes, no problem.
Yeah. So there's another question. Yeah, can you share the ArcGIS Pro download link? So actually, we will try to send you these recordings also, and also the sample data sets. But with that, we will try to send you the links. So our actual focus is to do the installations for the our paid courses, because this free one, it will be little difficult for our team to install maybe like 200, 300 PCs. So that's why we haven't shared the link at the beginning. But maybe for the learning purposes, we will try to share that. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, actually, each session will have a certificate. So especially this one, we wanted to have your certificate, but we have to double check whether your registrations, and then after that we can issue that. This one we will only issue kind of an e-certificate. So the other ones we will try because in Sri Lanka we can send you certain certificates, but foreign countries we will definitely have to send a e-certificate, right? Okay. Okay, then I hope the questions are over. So we want to conclude the session now, and also we want to apologize for the delay which we had when we are starting the program, due to one of our webinar accounts has some kind of a technical issue. That's why we couldn't start at once. So for that, we would like to apologize from all of you for the delay, but we hope that we have covered all the expected items for this particular program. And thank you very much for participating this event during this night. So we had kind of a break during last few months due to the various issues like power cuts and things like that. We had continued many webinars during previous year. I think our team, not only myself, Samanmali, Isuru, and there are some other guys who are helping us to organize this session. So I would like to thank them all for having this nice session today. And for participation, I would like to thank you all. And we hope you will join us for our next courses as well. And now we are going to conclude today's session. Thank you very much.